Sir, your background is correct now.
Good?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good morning, friends and family. This is Sergeant Major Russell from the 21st Signal Brigade. For all those that are in attendance, we're going to go ahead and start with the awards presentation. Sir, this is Sergeant Major Russell. We'll go ahead and turn it over to you for any remarks, and then Colonel Howard to stand by on the other side for the award presentation.
All right. So can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right.
We can hear you.
Okay. I got you. Hey, so, you know, I don't want to say a whole lot because, you know, I've written about a 22-minute speech. So just kidding. Hey, so, you know, this is you know, those bittersweet days. So, but, you know, in short, you know, we're recognizing Paul and really the entire Howard team, Paul and Lisa and Lucas and Maddie. I hope I got all that right. You know, for service to the nation and to the brigade, right? And so, you know, it's brigade command can be very rewarding and very lonely at some point, you know, and so I absolutely appreciate what the Howard team has done for the 21st Signal Brigade team over the last 2 years. And like I said, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to waste all my, you know, phenomenal words. But Paul, Lisa, thank you for what you've done for the 21st Signal Brigade, for the 7th Signal Command, for NetCom, for the Army over the last 2 years. You know, you've taken the brigade and no kidding, moved it into the 21st century and postured it to continue to move as the Army moves towards, you know, multi-domain operations 2028 and beyond. And so we can't give you enough, to be honest, for your last 24 months. We really can't. And so this is a small token, and like every good leader, you're going to stand up there after we present this, and you're going to say, hey, it's not about what I did, it's about what the team did. But it is about what you did. You provided leadership and guidance and direction. You balanced risk to people and risk to mission, and made it happen over the last 2 years. And so my hat's off to you. And none of that happens without the support of a family. And so to Lisa and the kids, thanks for letting us have your husband and father for the last 2 years, because I know there's been some long nights and short days, and so we appreciate you loaning them to us for the last 2 years. And so my hat's off to you for your service to the nation as well, because none of this happens without the love and support of a family. So without further ado, I'll ask, I think somebody's actually going to publish some orders. Is that true?
Maybe.
Attention orders. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress, 20 July 1942, has awarded the Legion of Merit to Colonel Paul D. Howard. For distinguished service as the Brigade Commander, 21st Signal Brigade, Colonel Howard acknowledged dedication to duty and relentless pursuit of excellence were the key factors in the integration of network enterprise centers into the Brigade, exceeding expectations. Colonel Howard's insistence on customer engagement and key leader involvement allow for superior execution of the new missions and the integration of the updated and new systems capabilities throughout the command. Colonel Howard's extraordinary performance and significant contributions reflect the highest credit upon himself, 7th Signal Command Theater, Network Enterprise Technology Command, United States Army Cyber Command, and the United States Army. By order of the Secretary of the Army, given this 17th day of July 2020, signed, Stephen G. Fogarty, Lieutenant General, U.S. Army Commanding.
The most unique award I've ever received, sir. And you kind of stole some of my words there. And like you, I got to save some things for the real speech. But Lisa and I were talking in the car on the way up here, and you're spot on that none of this would have happened without great NCOs and the backbone of the Army to just get stuff done, because the amount of responsibility on a brigade commander's shoulders and the amount of things that just have to get done are impossible without great subordinate leaders. And I found out real quickly in the first couple of weeks that there wasn't enough paper in my green book to write down all the things that had to happen. And so I just stopped and I just started trusting people to get it done. And it worked well, and it worked well because there's a huge amount of professionals out there in this organization that give it the reputation it does. So it's not about me, it's not about, Lisa. We were gifted with an opportunity to be here and lead this organization, and we're proud to be part of it. And certainly it is bittersweet to be leaving, and I think tomorrow morning there'll be kind of an emptiness and somewhat of a relief to have that pressure and the burden off of us, but certainly an emptiness. And but we'll leave here with a ton of friends that are part of our life forever. And this award just kind of reflects both those friendships and the accomplishments that those friends made over the last couple of years. And I'll take that with me long after this award finds its way onto a dusty uniform in a few years. And I really appreciate it, sir, and thanks for the opportunity. And we'll get with this formally in a few minutes, and I'll say it all again. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, Paul.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin momentarily. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Major General Barrett and Command Sergeant Major Knott, Major General Yee, Major General Taylor, Brigadier General Talley, Brigadier General Stanton, Brigadier General Beyont, Lieutenant General Retired Wood, Brigadier General Retired Chase, Brigadier General Retired McDonald, Mr. David Bennett, Ms. Teresa Pitts, Mr. Chuck Harris, Chief Warrant Officer 5 McCoy. Distinguished guests, soldiers, family, and friends. On behalf of Brigadier General Christopher L. Eubank, Commander 7th Signal Command Theater, Fort Gordon, Georgia, and Command Sergeant Major Maurice S. Greening, Command Sergeant Major of the 7th Signal Command Theater, Fort Gordon, Georgia. Welcome to the 21st Signal Brigade Change of Command and Assumption of Responsibility Ceremony. Participating in today's ceremony is Colonel Paul D. Howard, the outgoing commander of the 21st Signal Brigade, Colonel Darcy R. St. Amant, and Command Sergeant Major Danny Reboletto, the incoming commander and Command Sergeant Major of the 21st Signal Brigade. Let us welcome Chaplain Captain Michael Rumschick, Chaplain of the 302nd Signal Battalion, for the invocation.
If you'll join me in prayer. God, we thank you for this morning. Throughout history, you have greatly cared about leadership and its ramifications. As a brigade commander, Colonel Howard's fingerprints were left on thousands of soldiers, their spouses and kids and civilians. I thank you for his insights, his passion, his ability to empower, enable, and push others, all with a heart of humility, kindness, and strength. We ask you to continue to bless and protect him, Lisa, Lucas, and Maddie in their next Army adventure. We welcome Colonel St. Amant, her husband, and Conrad to the team, as well as Command Sergeant Major Reboletto and his wife Suna, and Maria and Christine. May you give them wisdom and discernment beyond their own as they lead, and grant them success in all their endeavors. But we also ask you will give them joy and peace during their time as brigade command team. May their marriages grow even sweeter, and may they grow stronger as family units. Lastly, we pray for each and every 21st Signal Brigade soldier, family member, and civilian. May we be a strong and united team made up of strong individuals and united homes and barracks communities. May you daily sharpen us all so we continue to be the edge of the sword. Amen.
From ancient times, armies throughout the world have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victories over enemies, honor comrades in arms, and celebrate special occasions, as we are doing today. These ceremonies have added color and a way to showcase military life while preserving tradition and stimulating esprit de corps. Today, we will virtually execute the tradition of passing the unit's colors and command authority as it would have been passed from one leader to another. The change of command ceremony is a military tradition that is rich with symbolism and heritage dating back to the medieval times. The unit's colors not only represent the heritage and history of the unit, but also the unity and loyalty of its soldiers. The colors is the commander's symbol of authority, representing his or her responsibility to the organization. The custodian of the colors is the Command Sergeant Major. As a senior enlisted soldier in the brigade, the Command Sergeant Major is both the spokesperson for the loyalty and concerns of the soldiers and the principal advisor to the commander. Command Sergeant Major Russell will symbolically pass the colors to the outgoing commander, Colonel Howard, signifying the last official act between the Command Sergeant Major and the commander. Colonel Howard will symbolically relinquish his responsibility and authority of the 21st Signal Brigade by passing the colors to Brigadier General Eubank, thus ensuring the unit would never be without a recognized leader. Brigadier General Eubank would then symbolically pass the colors to Colonel St. Amant. Colonel St. Amant's receipt of the colors would symbolize the acceptance of command of the 21st Signal Brigade and her loyalty to the soldiers and civilians she has been entrusted to lead. By authority of Army Regulation 600-20, paragraph 2-3, the undersigned assumes command of the 21st Signal Brigade, effective 17 July 2020. Signed, Colonel Darcy R. St. Amant, Signal Corps, commanding. Colonel St. Amant will symbolically return the colors and all it represents to the incoming Command Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major Reboletto, charging him with maintaining this symbol of command. The Command Sergeant Major will receive the colors as his first act of loyalty to the command. This signifies the assumption of responsibility and authority. The assumption of responsibility is a simple yet traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. The key to the ceremony is the passing of the 21st Signal Brigade colors. The very soul of a military unit is symbolized in the colors under which it fights, for they represent not only the lineage and honors of the unit, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers. The custodian of the colors is Command Sergeant Major. By authority of Army Regulation 600-20, Command Sergeant Major Reboletto assumes responsibility as the 21st Signal Brigade Command Sergeant Major and the custodian of the 21st Signal Brigade colors, effective 17 July 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of 7th Signal Command Theater, Brigadier General Christopher Eubank.
All right, good morning. Give me a thumbs up. You guys hear me? Everything good? Okay, good morning. Major General Barrett, Command Sergeant Major Knott, fellow general officers, sergeant majors, distinguished guests, and most importantly, friends and family of 21st Signal Brigade. It has been said countless times, but we're going to say it again. This is a bittersweet day as we say farewell to a great command team in Colonel Paul Howard and Lisa Howard, and welcome another great family, Colonel Darcy St. Amant and Buzz, to take the reins of the 21st Signal Brigade. We're also going to witness the assumption of responsibility for a well-deserving Command Sergeant Major Reboletto. As you can see, we're executing this in the virtual world as we've been doing as of late. And I think we've met the standard for social distancing. You guys are spaced out there at Dietrich, and I didn't count the miles, but I'm a good distance away. So I think we're in compliance with the social distancing standards. I promise not to talk long, but I will tell you, I will take the appropriate time to recognize this great brigade, these great soldiers, as they relinquish or take responsibility in one aspect or another. I really want to focus on people during my remarks, and we'll start with the accomplishments of the brigade over the last 2 years due to the great soldiers, civilians, and contractors under the leadership of Colonel Paul Howard. First of all, everyone needs to understand that this is not your run-of-the-mill Signal Brigade, and you'll see why as I highlight what they have done in the last 2 years. In 2018, the brigade's mission changed from providing SATCOM to support SATCOM and DoDNA missions, and therefore expanding the brigade's communications abilities across not just CONUS but OCONUS. And this change included the inheritance of some regional network enterprise centers consisting of 5 local NECs or network enterprise centers. And on average, the brigade directly supports about 3,000 tactical warfighter, SATCOM, STEP teleport, regional hub node missions, and over 5,000 terrestrial circuits by providing communications reach back capabilities through the 302nd Signal Battalion and facilities to the White House Communications Agency, the National Airborne Operations Center, FEMA, Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, and Joint Operations. So everything I said there is not typical of an Army Signal Brigade. On average, brigade deploys about 400 soldiers and civilians worldwide in support of various real-world and exercise missions. This includes over 40 soldiers in direct support of U.S. CENTCOM, Operation Inherent Resolve, Freedom Sentinels deployments in Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, Syria, Qatar, and Bahrain. The remaining missions include the following: 55th Combat Camera Company mission support, Defense to POW MIA Accounting Agency in Laos and Vietnam, 75th Ranger Regiment, MLATs in Georgia, Washington, North Carolina, 8th Army in Korea, warfighters at NTC, JRTC rotations, State of the Union addresses, DA, National Capital Region, NCO, Soldier Year Boards and competitions, the Army 10 miler, exercises in Southern Partnership, Continuing Promise in South America, Eager Line in Georgia, Flintlock in Africa, Lightning Forge in Hawaii, state funerals, Capital Shield exercises in DC, Warrior Treatment Unit, Army Trials. Combat Camera also provided documentation support to other federal agencies to include, as we stated, FEMA, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Navy. I personally witnessed Combat Camera on the Comfort down in Panama. as I was going through Capstone and went through the Western Hemisphere, I linked up with a young soldier out of the 55th Combat Cam that was taking pictures for the USNS Comfort. So, wow, not your typical Signal Brigade. And if that's not enough, you talk about the 114th, the Communications Management Support Team providing protective communications in support of the Joint Director of Military Support. United States Secret Service completed over 20 separate missions in support of the presidential State of the Union addresses, United Nations General Assemblies, Republic National Conventions, Democratic National Convention site surveys, numerous CONUS-wide Secret Service field office upgrades, include network conversions, telephone and radio system upgrades, all to provide coordination for Army augmentees selected to support the Secret Service. On top of all this, they support a cultural shift in the way we do business because of the pandemic and have continued to provide this service the entire time. So nothing I just talked about, your run-of-the-mill Army Signal Brigade. And they've done it without missing a beat. You know, I've only been in the job for a month, but I've had no calls reference a degradation in communications in the way of 21st Signal Brigade support. None of this would have been possible without the hard work, dedication, and great leadership. That is in great reflection of Colonel Paul Howard. He has been the leader that the brigade needed to navigate through the intricacies of each and every of these specialized and critical missions with all the different units within the brigade. Paul, your calm demeanor and ability to see the entirety of the challenge has been instrumental in the performance of the brigade and resulted in mission accomplishment each and every time. You have done the most important thing, and that is take care of people, whether it was soldiers, civilians, contractors. You have always been able to balance the care of people with the accomplishment of the mission while mitigating the risk. And as a boss, I couldn't ask for anything more. We all know that none of this is possible without the support of the family. To Lucas and Maddie and to Lisa, thank you for letting us have your father and husband over the last 2 years. It is your selfless service that has allowed us to keep your father and husband away for long and unknown hours, and we thank you for that. To Lisa, thank you for not only taking care of your family, but taking care of the 21st families. I say it all the time that military spouses do not get a paycheck, although maybe they should. And they do what they do out of a sense of purpose and service to a higher calling in the nation. And thank you for that. Paul, again, thank you for taking care of the members of the 21st Signal Brigade over the last 2 years. Good luck as you move to your next adventure in the DAG-6. And just remember, we're only a phone call away. To Darcy Hainamont and your family, husband Buzz and son Conrad, welcome back to the 21st family. You are no strangers to this brigade, having commanded 302nd, and I cannot think of a better leader, teammate, and communicator to be taking the brigade into the future, which involves a lot of changes as the Army moves towards multi-domain operations and large-scale combat operations. I'm excited for you, as it will be challenging and fun times as you guide the brigade in modernization and on to the next ridge line. Welcome, and remember, take care of the people and they will take care of the mission. To Command Sergeant Major Rebolledo, and I hope I said that right. I should have just said Danny, because it's a lot easier. Your wife Sonia, your children Mateo and Ava, welcome to the brigade. And as with Colonel St. Amant, you are the right senior NCO to be taking over as Command Sergeant Major of this unit at this point in our Army. I know you will be the standard bearer and role model for all to follow while ensuring soldiers, civilians, and contractors are living the Army values while accomplishing the mission. Take care of the people, and they will pay you back in spades every day. Finally, to the soldiers, civilians, and contractors of the 21st Signal Brigade, thank you very much for what you do for the command, the Army, and the nation every day. To the people who have set up this event, thank you. It's world class in these trying times, these different times. I'd like to end with saying, hey, I want everybody to stay safe, vigilant, and healthy during this pandemic. These are different times, and we need everyone on the team and in the fight, so please stay safe. Thank you. One team, one network, Army strong.
The former commander of the 21st Signal Brigade, Colonel Paul Howard. who will at this time present his wife, Miss Lisa Howard, with red roses on behalf of the officers, soldiers, and civilians of the 21st Signal Brigade.
On behalf of the 21st Signal Brigade, the soldiers and the NCOs and the families out there, I just want to thank Lisa publicly for a lot of stuff. And she gets me out of bed every morning, gets me a PT, and that's where it starts. So, thanks. So, sir, thanks for those kind words, even the true ones. Those are too kind. But one of the things that I'll highlight, in my formal comments too, is the people. I truly believe that kind of just turning letting the reins loose on great professionals got me through the last couple of years, and certainly took the brigade to new heights. And so this is the third, I think, in about as many weeks of these virtual events that I've sat in one role or the other. The first one was my HHC commander, where I had to change out the HHC commander and farewell my own company commander. It was a little bittersweet. And then I went down to the mountain and changed out battalion commanders inside of Raven Rock. Another super unique, event, doing a virtual live broadcasted Microsoft Teams and Facebook type event from inside of a mountain, and at the same time losing my military deputy to become the battalion commander. And then over the last few weeks, it's been bittersweet, kind of thinking about this event, reflecting on a great unit, a great people, and I'm the one leaving, the big difference. And so now, I just kind of reflect back in contrast to 2018, when Karen Rowe and I stood out on a grassy field here at Fort Detrick with hundreds of our friends and families in the unit, watching from the shade. It was very different. But I'm just as proud today as I was then. And I just, regardless of the situation, I'm happy, to be here. And so with that, I want to welcome all those people that you just mentioned, sir. There's, in a virtual event, it's like, well, you can't look around in the crowd and see who made it. And some people may be watching it recorded later. So I'm going to miss somebody. But General Yee, General Barrett, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Klooster, Generals Talley and Eubank and Bianc, Stanton, Command Sergeant Major Greening, my own Command Sergeant Major Russell, who's behind the scenes texting me. We got like 250 people, that are virtually watching. He's constantly doing his job, and so thanks for doing all that. Lieutenant General Retired Wood, Major General Napper, General McDonald, General Chase, and everybody else I forgot. Please forgive me if I did. And most importantly, the fellow members of the 21st Signal Brigade and my family and friends that are watching from somewhere in the world, hopefully being safe, welcome, regardless of time zone or location or which medium, Facebook, Microsoft Teams, YouTube, it means a lot to Lisa and I that you guys are participating with us in one fashion or the other. And I wish we were all together. I wish we were telling stories, maybe even a few true ones. We were shaking hands and giving hugs, enjoying each other's smiles. And I look forward to the day that we'll do that again, and I'm certain it's coming. But until then, like the general said, continued vigilance against the virus is best. The virus isn't changing. We are as a community, and that's good. So please don't let COVID-19 dampen your spirits and be, all sad that, you couldn't be here personally with me. Don't let it deter your celebration and reflecting on the continued successes that this brigade's going to do in the future. This unit's got a rich history, but just remember, it's not about me or Darcy or the Command Sergeant Major. It's about those people that the general was mentioning. It's about the soldiers and civilians that stand ready today and tomorrow to do the mission. And before I go any further, special thanks to the chaplain for some inspiring words and blessing the whole command. I'm thankful that I had God's grace for 2 years with the mantle of leadership on me. I think it's important for us all to remain humble as that leadership's bestowed on others. And like those before me, I've tried to set a good example. I'm not perfect, and I needed God's grace and the grace of the whole brigade to get through it. And I enjoyed leading the organization with that grace, and I'm glad you kind of bestowed that on the future leaders as well. Last summer, before COVID-19, Brigade got together and we reenacted a 25-mile group run from Fort Ritchie to Fort Detrick. And that's the way the original run was done, to signify the relocation of the brigade as it moved from from Ritchie to Detrick. And before we were doing it, we were kind of coming up with this, what a lot of people call a crazy idea. I was just kind of contemplating it with people like Bill Malani, Tamara Snyder, and a few other people that walked me down memory lane of the history of the brigade. And when we did it, you could see the pride in their eyes, reflecting on the good old days. The unit name changed. The people have gone to some other place in a lot of cases. But it wasn't the names and the personalities of the commanders or the command sergeants major that made their chests swell with pride. It was the legacy, the professionalism, the relationships, the mentoring that had been done that spread across the entire Army after that. And so commanders come and go, and I always say that you just become a dusty picture on the wall, and the meaning of the accolades that the unit, wins become lost in history. Hold on. If there are other commanders that commanded the 21st, your picture's not really dusty, okay? You see, it's the legacy of those people that make up the reputation. The people eventually they move on to other missions, but they take those lessons with them. They take the attitude that they learned here with them to the next job. And I'm proud to do the same. I've learned a lot from each and every person that I've interacted with here in the 21st Signal Brigade. I tell everybody, I'm not a great technician. I might have thought I was when I was a second lieutenant, but certainly I've lost as many skills as I ever learned. I've learned a ton from people like Lieutenant Colonel Craig Sanders, Lieutenant Colonel Nunley, Dr. Ford, Chief Terrazon, and countless other people that have tutored me along the way. I'm an average staff officer, to be honest with you, but I've constantly been tutored by Lynn Scott, Major Joaquin, Justin Crystal, Mike Stevick, Chris Lerai, and others that have kind of propped me up. I've loved being a commander. I wasn't a battalion commander, I was a Division G6, and I've loved it. But the commanders that supported me and the directors that were under me, them listening and executing my intent, that's what made me successful. So thanks to Julie Donnelly, Folden Peterson, Glenn Haskins, Scott McDonald, Vicki Moore, Pat Dedham, Russell Johnston, and everybody else that came along. Let's face it, Bill Malani in the room next to me, and Colonel John Hughes, that was a military deputy for a while. They mentored me all along the way. They're two of the most humble and selfless people that a commander could have ever hoped for to saddle up for the ride, with you. So if I can just get a virtual round of applause for all those heroes and all the people that I missed, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. So, Sergeant Major Russell, we've shared a lot in a short amount of time. Thank you, Mr. COVID-19. I've never doubted your abilities. You truly represent the NCOs and the soldiers in this command. Our NCOs are the backbone of the Army. They're the backbone of this unit. And I always say that current ops is not my issue. In current ops, the NCOs, the pride and the professionalism that the NCOs have and the technicians in this organization have, they carry us through all those type of events. They're not going to let us fail. You didn't either. Their tenacity, their skill, that got the message through. It's not lost on me at all. You represented them well. You provided a sounding board for my ideas. You provided sage and unfiltered advice every single time. You're a man of wisdom. action, grit. Your passion is for people, for the duty, and you had humility through every bit of that. Just consider this short time with me up at the brigade, your successful rehearsal prior to becoming the 15th Signal Brigade Commander, and there's nothing I'd like to do more than have the pleasure to serve with you again. I look forward to doing that on the high ground. To the commanders that I worked for over the last couple of years, to General Barrett, General Pugh, General Baker, Chase, General Eubank, General Talley, you've all allowed me to command. You've all allowed me to make mistakes. You've all allowed me to learn from them and then to try again. And to me, that's the essence of command. You underwrote the decisions of your subordinate commanders. You've allowed me to grow as a soldier, a commander, through your leadership, and I'll be forever grateful. And then at my side every day, just off camera, is Lisa, and she's literally my social worker. She proofs the speeches. I wouldn't let her read this part, so she knows I'll lose my cool. So against all odds here, and in jeopardy of sounding like a country song, here I go. So you're not like to lose it. So when I'm exhausted, she picks me up. When I'm frustrated, she's the person listening. When I'm uncertain, she's confident. When I'm perplexed, she's the wise one. When we met in 1994, she partnered with me for all this time, and she keeps soldiers and the mission in front of her like nobody else. You know, there's water in the basement, and she's got the plumber. When the kids haven't been, she reminds me 4 or 5 times. You know, she's the holiday decorator. She's awesome, and I don't know what's more appropriate to say thank you or I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Next.
So Lisa and I won't forget all of you. We're not bashful to say that we made friends and we learned lessons all the way through this, and it's time for us to go. And so like the Army says, the Army goes rolling along. So Darcy and Buzz, you guys have the mantle of leadership now. You've got the mantle of command. I know that Darcy is going to get the support of this unit because allegiances aren't to me. They're not to Lisa and I. They're not to other commanders, and they're to the mission. And so Darcy and Buzz are the right team, the right time to take the brigade to the next level. I'm truly going to miss the brigade. I am smiling from afar as you surmount new heights. And so for the last time, edge of the sword and razor sharp, Army strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 21st Signal Brigade, Colonel Darcy St. Amant, who will at this time present her spouse, CW4 retired, Buzz Covington, a bottle of wine, and her son Conrad, a gift on behalf of the officers, soldiers, and civilians of the 21st Signal Brigade.
Thank you. Good morning, Lieutenant General Retired Wood, Major General Barrett, Major General Yee, Major General Taylor, Major General Retired Napper, General Eubank, General Talley, General Stanton, General Bianc, General Chase, General McDonald, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Closter, Chief McCoy, Command Sergeants Major, so many distinguished guests, family, friends, and teammates. Thank you for being a part of this ceremony today from all across the country and around the world. I know that many of you watching virtually would love to be here in person, but for the pandemic. Thank you to my family, friends, and mentors, and to all the soldiers and civilians who have played a part in me being here today. To my husband, Buzz, and my son, Conrad, thank you for being here for me today and every day. General Eubank, thank you for entrusting me with this great unit and for your kind words. Paul and Lisa Howard, thank you so much for your friendship, openness, and advice. I could not have asked for a better transition. Thank you both for blessing the brigade with your leadership over the past 2 years. I wish you the best of luck in your next assignment, and you and Lisa will always remain a part of the 21st Signal Brigade family. Command Sergeant Major Robledo and family, welcome. We are so very fortunate to have you here, and I'm honored to lead with you. To the soldiers and civilians and contractors of the brigade, the opportunity to be a part of this team once more is such an honor and a privilege. A few years ago, General Baker said, you might just be back here in a few years, and I looked at him kind of dubiously, and sure enough, he was right. So thank you all for the warm welcome and for the planning, all the planning and the preparation that went into this ceremony and the entire transition. As we navigate through the uncertainties of life in the midst of this pandemic, I want to assure you that your welfare and the well-being of your families are of the utmost concern to me. Continue to wear your face coverings, wash your hands, and maintain physical distancing. We do these things not only to protect ourselves and our family members, but also out of consideration for those whom we serve and sacrifice for in order to protect them from this virus. We all swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution, which was written, as expressed in the preamble to the Constitution, to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. Our country was founded upon these ideals of justice, equality, and freedom for all. In a country as diverse as ours, these ideals are what draw us together. But to achieve them, we must seek to understand and celebrate that diversity. It is this diversity that makes us stronger, and it is our service to the nation that binds us together. Together, we will continue to look out for each other, support each other, and achieve our missions. From the White House to the foxhole, all policies and procedures remain in effect. Edge of the sword, razor sharp, razor 6 signing on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Command Sergeant Major of the 21st Signal Brigade, Command Sergeant Major Danny Robledo, who will at this time present his wife Sana with yellow roses and his children Mateo and Ava with gifts on behalf of the officers, soldiers, and civilians of the 21st Signal Brigade.
Okay, so you know one of the problems with speaking last in an event like this is many of your prepared remarks may have already been said in some form or fashion. So if I repeat something, bear with me, as it was probably worth repeating. General Barrett, Command Sergeant Major Knott, General Eubank, Command Sergeant Major Greening, General Telley, fellow Command Sergeants Majors, friends and family of the 21st Signal Brigade. Once again, thank you for attending today's ceremony. Before I continue, I just want to, just for some context, and hopefully my mom and dad are out there watching. They were able to figure out this this Facebook thing or on YouTube. If not, again, I think it is being recorded. But Mom, Dad, I'm speaking directly to you now. So normally a traditional ceremony obviously is not like this. A ceremony, just to paint a picture, you'll see a parade field, a beautiful parade field with hundreds of soldiers standing side by side in a very rigid stance. Beautiful blue sky. You know, more times than not, a very hot day. Sun beating down on the soldiers, sweat beating down the sides of their face. To the front of that formation, you'll see organizational leaders standing in front of their soldiers, giving them commands. All movements are executed in a quick and in unison. And to the front of that, you'll see the aforementioned passing of the colors. And you would be so mom and dad, you would be sitting next to Sana and the kids right up front in an honored position watching this ceremony. So hopefully mom and dad, you're out there watching. And just for some context, that's what this ceremony outside of a COVID environment would actually look like. So I'd like to start off by recognizing some individuals and groups. First, Command Sergeant Major Russell. I know you're out there watching. You were the producer of this virtual ceremony. So all the success or failure will fall on your shoulders for sure, right? So, hey, but so far so good. It looks excellent. So phenomenal job to you and your team. I also want to thank you for making this transition as seamless as possible. There's no doubt if you look over the past 6 months, what has happened both in our country and really across the world, and the impact that it has had on our soldiers, civilians, contractors, and family members. I will tell you the brigade could not have asked for a better non-commissioned officer to be leading from the front. So thank you for what you do. As Colonel Howard alluded to earlier, you are going to make an excellent brigade command sergeant major. So thank you. Colonel St. Amant, my new battle buddy, I look forward to working with you and providing the best possible leadership to this brigade. As someone who is very familiar with this organization, I will be coming to you often for insight, and let's have fun doing it. To my military brothers and sisters across the globe, to include my Viking brothers out there, so hopefully you're listening, and all the soldiers, officers, and civilians that are responsible for me being here today. Thank you for what you do and what you will continue to do. Believe me, it's not lost on me that I'm sitting here today or standing here today on your shoulders. So thank you. And of course, just a special shout out, mom and dad, I hope you're online, and my sister and my brothers out there in sunny California. I believe this is the first ceremony that you have seen with me in it, mostly because these ceremonies have taken place on the East Coast or in Europe or somewhere in the Middle East. So when you talk about hunting the good stuff, this is it for me. So finding the positive. My parents get to see their son in a non-traditional military ceremony for the first time in 26 years. So I love you guys, and hopefully I'll see you soon. To my kids, Mateo and Ava, so I don't know if I should be thanking you or you should be thanking me just for life in general, right? So, but I want to thank you for putting up with your old man. I moved you all over the globe, asked you to start all over numerous times, more times than I probably should have. I love you guys, and I'm proud to be your dad. To my beautiful wife and best friend, there is no one that supports me more or believes in me more. So just think, in a few more years, not only will we be empty nesters, we'll be able to ride off into the sunset. Maybe take that trip back to France. Finally, to the soldiers, civilians, and family members of the brigade, I am extremely humbled to be called your sergeant major. I understand my position on the team and look forward to working with and next to you and working next to each and every one of you. Thanks, Edge of the Sword.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 21st Signal Brigade, Colonel St. Amant.
Sir, this concludes today's ceremony.
Take charge of your brigade.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's change of command and assumption of responsibility ceremony. On behalf of Brigadier General Eubank, thank you for attending today's virtual ceremony. Edge of the Sword.